Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Journey. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the artifacts that we have available in here and really going from the worst artifact that we have to the best artifact that we have. Now, of course, artifacts can really be the game changer when it comes to battles. And overall, you want to make sure that you're equipping the correct artifact depending on the game mode that you're looking at. Now, as you can see, these are based on the resonance level. So as you continue to level up the heroes, you're going to have the ability to not only level up these artifacts, but in addition, all of these other two artifacts, the Confining Spell and the Blazing Spell, they come naturally out of progression through the world. So as you're going through the outworld or the overworld, and with the exploration, once you start going through additional zones and chapters, you will actually be able to unlock these. That is how they are naturally unlocked if you are not purchasing them. Now, I know they are available to unlock a little bit early if you go ahead and purchasing them. So looking at these in their entirety, the last one that comes in essentially at number 6 is the Iron Wall spell. Now, this ultimately is going to bless the foremost allied hero at the start of battle, which is usually a tank. This is going to raise the physical defense and the magical defense and energy on hit by 20 for the rest of battle. Now, of course, this is important at the beginning of kind of playing AFK Journey. As you start getting a little bit further, this one really doesn't do much of anything because there are a lot of other artifacts that are far more powerful than we see the Iron Wall spell, which means early game, when you don't have a tank, it can have its uses. And again, I used it for a little while before I picked up Thorin. Now that I have Thorin, not really a big one because, of course, it's only giving a little bit of haste and then some vitality. It also gives the ally a shield based on their max HP. Then, of course, it buffs a little bit more physical and magical defense. But we do have an artifact that kind of does the same thing. Now, this one ultimately, AFK stages, campaign, Dream Realm, Legend Trio, so going through the towers would be the way or the places that you could use this. But ultimately, this one is coming in as the worst artifact that we do have. Now, the next one that we look at is the Blaze spell. So the Blaze spell ultimately shoots a fireball at the weakest enemy every 5 seconds, dealing magic damage. Now, this doesn't do enough damage to make a big difference, which is the really big reason why, again, a lot of players don't use it. As you start getting a little bit further, as you unlock all of these other artifacts, instead of using the Blaze spell, most people go with the Star Shard spell, which of course amplifies a lot of different things that we'll talk about in just a minute. But overall, the Blazing spell, even when you get to the point of unlocking it, doesn't have enough of an impact to go ahead and make a difference because, again, there are a lot of these that are a lot better when it comes to the build. Now, of course, if you are going to use it, it's very, very situational depending on who is on the team and exactly where this fireball is going to go, which again makes it really unlocking it through the main story, but not really a place to use this artifact at all, which is kind of unfortunate. Then we get into the Awakening. So this, of course, is the basic one. This is the very first one that we start with. Very good early, again, because of the attack, the physical defense, and the magic defense. Again, kind of like what we see in the Iron Wall. This is going to be able to supplement your healing that we have in formations. Now, again, for me, I got really lucky. I actually started out with Smoky, meaning this Awakening spell didn't really have that much of an effect because I already had a very solid support hero. But if you're looking at a couple like running Rowan or Heowen, chances are you could supplement some of the healing that they're not doing with the Awakening spell. That way you can actually have your team to survive because, of course, if your team dies, they don't really do much damage and they can't do much damage or healing if the team is ultimately dead, making this, again, imperative in some battles. Now, of course, looking at this one, a couple places use it. Arcane Labyrinth does incredibly well as the towers, again, just kind of based on the build. Now, north of the Awakening, we start looking at the Enlightening spell. So this one, of course, is going to buff the attack speed of the one rearmost hero. So this is only putting a buff on one hero. Also does provide some attack speed and some HP, but overall, this can be used in a couple different places, mainly the boss fights. This is where we see it. You can use it really to counter some of the Confine, which we'll look at in just a minute, which is probably one of the best artifacts that we see. But overall, I do put this sometimes in battles just for the simple fact, if I have one very, very strong damage dealer, which is usually like an Odie in the back line, I can drop this on him. It will amplify the attack speed that he has, also allowing him to do a lot of damage when he buffs himself. Bonus attack speed increased to 100, which is huge. That is a massive, massive attack speed buff. When you think of the heroes themselves, that is going to make a big difference. Then, of course, we get into the Star Shard spell. This, again, when you look similar to AFK Arena, AFK Journey, haste is the most important thing within this game. This gives the ability to them, the heroes use their skills faster and also using their ultimate ability faster. Now, this, of course, every 4 times heroes use their ultimate. So this is dependent on your heroes ulting. There's a flame wave that is unleashed. The flame deals true damage. And then, of course, 16% of the current target HP, up to 60% of the team's attack. But the big thing with this one, the flame wave also reduces the attack speed by 60. That is the big thing. When you think of the survivability of a team, not only are you going to have this ultimate going off, doing a considerable amount of damage, and as the target gets stronger, of course, this is going to do more damage. But overall, the attack speed debuff in here is big. That way you can slow down the enemy team. As it gets a little bit further, you can see 24% of HP capped at 90%. But getting this to level 10, it takes it from 4 ultimate abilities down to 3, which is really, really good when it comes to building this one out. And then, of course, the #1 artifact that we have, I do not have unlocked yet, which is the Confining Spell. When you look at the Confining Spell, it seems like pretty much everywhere that you have the ability to actually use this, from Arena, from AFK Stages, Campaign, Battle Drills, Legends Trial, everywhere it is going to be locked, and this is the one that you're going to use for a majority of time. You're going to put it on, kind of set it and forget it, buffing attack and HP as we see right there. Now the big thing, 3 seconds into battle, deals magical damage to 25% of the team's attack to 2 enemies in the back. So you are looking at an artifact that is going to specifically target the enemies in the back row every 12 seconds, making them unable to move or act. Now, of course, if you're providing crowd control every 1.5 seconds or locking them down for 1.5 seconds every 12 seconds, you have a significant ability to crowd control the entire back row, which is going to give you the ability in the PvP aspect, in the towers, in pretty much everything, to tear through the frontline teams or the tanks that we have within the teams, making it a really big difference. Then, of course, getting to 5, the prison goes to 2.5%, or 2.5 seconds, excuse me. So when you think about this, if you can target the back line of the enemies every 12 seconds with a 2.5 second cooldown for this prison, you're talking about having a 9.5 second window essentially in battle. Every 9.5 seconds, those backline heroes are going to be up, and then you're going to see them locked down for that additional 2.5 seconds, which is kind of crazy to think. And then, of course, when you get to level 10, the cooldown of this ability is reduced to 10 seconds. Now you're looking at a 10-second cooldown with a 2.5 second counter in there, which is going to prison them, which means 7.5 seconds every 10 seconds. They only have a 7.5 second window that back line is not going to be locked down. Now, of course, when you're looking at these big burst teams, if you're looking at the support heroes that are sitting in the back line, the Confining Spell is just going to literally wreck them in their entirety. So looking at, again, the 2 most important, Confining, of course, going to be used in a ton of different places. Looking at the Star Shard spell, this is going to be the one when you're looking to actually build it out and do damage in a bunch of different modes. So you have one that is very crowd control heavy, that is going to lock down targets in multiple target modes. And then, of course, you have one that is going to be very specific to when it comes to doing damage on the bosses overall. So I know these artifacts did change quite a bit from when we were over on the PTR, so definitely wanted to cover the artifacts in their entirety, show you which ones to really focus on and which ones are going to be the most effective in the majority of game modes. But that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.